an instrumental part of Agora worldwide, Agora worldwide, Agora worldwide. Counter economics, Agorist strip, black market click, move a quick flip, can't regulate this. Agorist strip, black market click, move a quick flip, can't regulate this. Agorist,
can't regulate this. This is the Agorist Next podcast. I'm Brandon. I've got my great co-host Dag with me. How you doing, Dag?
I'm doing pretty good, man. I'm doing pretty good. Can I take a second and tell you about my day?
Sure, yeah.
So anyhow, this morning I was getting up and going to a job I really didn't want to go to. And you know, I was just feeling kind of bummed or whatever. Actually, I almost got into a car accident on the way to work. Like the car in front of me got like hit. Like it was crazy. I actually got to check my dash cam and see if I got anything cool. But anyhow, you know, I got to work and all the young dudes there at the shop were all in a very good mood because they have all made like several hundreds of dollars overnight on crypto. They're, you know, have a good time talking about that and talk about businesses they're starting. And a couple of them just got 3D printers and shit. And I was just like, dude, this is awesome. And like, I just felt so much better just seeing, you know, seeing the workers, you know, be able to take something back, you know, getting into crypto and getting some money for themselves. And just, I don't know, man, it was just super cool. And it really cheered me up. And, you know, for the most part, my day went a bit better. So that was awesome.
Yeah, right on. And you probably had some kind of small influence on some of the crypto 3D printing stuff around there, right?
I like to think so. It might have taken a while, and I might have been called a crazy conspiracy theorist for years and years, you know, around there. But, you know, I wasn't rubbing anybody's faces or anything. I wasn't giving any I told you so. I was just going, feels good, don't it? You know? So whether or not I had any influence, I'm going to claim it anyhow.
Right. Yeah, I blame Dag. So yeah. I mean, definitely at fault for that one. But
yeah. So but anyhow, we've got a few items for you guys today. Before we get into it though, let's go ahead and give a big fat shout out to Presearch, a really fantastic search engine. You know, no spying, no censorship, really fantastic crypto program. You got this utility coin, really neat. You know, you can check them out at presearch.org, or if you want to show us a little bit of love, feel free to go to our site, and we have a link on there. What is it, Brandon? agoristnexus.com/search.
Yep. Just awesome. agoristnexus.com, and then just add a /search on there, and that's a way to get our affiliate link on there, and that helps support us. And then it also tells Presearch that we're worth sponsoring if we get enough of those. So yeah, it really helps us out a lot. And there's a lot of affiliate links on our site that just by clicking and signing up for stuff, free stuff, or, you know, services that really help us out. So, you know, feel free to do any of that. But
help support us without having to spend any dough. It's nice. Right.
Yeah. And Presearch is, I don't know, Presearch has stuff that Google doesn't have, and that's dark mode. Like you can't get dark mode on Google. And I'm a dark mode maximalist, so definitely check out Presearch. I mean, you know, and it's a no-brainer. You get crypto for searching for stuff, so you're getting free money, so why not? And it's decentralized. You don't get spied on. And I mean, the list goes on of all the benefits that you get from Presearch. It is a really good search engine all around. You know, I don't even use Google anymore. The only thing I use Google for now is like to spell check. I think that's pretty really, much all I use really Google for.
Best thing to use if you don't know how to spell a word. It's just the best thing to do it.
Yeah, and hopefully Presearch. I'm sure Presearch will come out with like a, hey, did you mean this word type of stuff, like spell check stuff. But yeah, I mean, Presearch is just, that's how good it is. I don't even really need to use Google anymore. So.
We're going to have to get Colin back on at some point to give us some updates and stuff on what they got going on. I remember him talking about the predictive text when he was on. But yeah, we'll have to get him back on once it's been like a year or something, see what they got going on over there, because it's a cool project. It makes me feel like a hacker, because I'm like not using Google. I'm like, yeah, I got this cool, you know, other underground kind of site that I use, you know. Sorry guys, I'm a dork.
Right. Yeah, I feel all cool. I'm using something that nobody else is using yet. Yeah. I'm a crypto anarchist now.
Yeah. So anyhow, also make sure you check out all the other listings on the Nexus. And if you have a business and you love liberty, feel free to pop a listing on there and bring people to your site. If you need any help or you want me to do it for you, just holler at me. I'll make it happen.
Yeah, if you're even we've created a system where it's like super easy to do it, but if you just don't feel like doing anything and you just want to say, hey, like, this is what my business is about. Here's an image. Here's the name of my business. Here's how you can contact me. You can send all that stuff to what is it's Agorist nexus.support@protonmail.com. I'm pretty sure. Let me double check. Yeah, agoristnexus.support@protonmail.com. Just send all that stuff to that site, and we'll do everything for you. You won't need to do a single thing. So, and multiple
running a business.
Yeah, and multiple people check that email. So we're on top of it there too. And then if there's any issues with our site or anything like that, feel free to let us know there. Any feedback really helps us, whether it's constructive criticism or whatever. It really helps us. So
or something constructive.
Yeah, or even if it's something positive, positive feedback helps us too. So and I think we're going to start shilling some of the businesses on our site because we really want them to do well. And if we can help them out in any way that we can, me and Dag will come up with a good strategic way of doing that sooner or later. Just to give you guys a heads up on that. But we have lots of news stories that we want to get into, a lot of stuff that as an Agorist myself that I would be personally very interested in. So we're going to go over like it's going to be a fun episode, 3D printed guns and, hyperinflation and banning crypto and exploding crypto markets and Agorist opportunities. Yeah, I mean, it's
good all around news roundup.
Some black market news. So so stay tuned, guys. We got a great show for you. But what did we have first up?
Let's go ahead now. This is just something I really wish I had more for you guys on this right now, but as we were recording this on the 16th, I am eagerly awaiting the release of the MKII. It's the new 3D printed
FGC-9.
Yeah, they've had the FGC-9, which has been out, probably about a year or so, maybe even a little bit more since that's actually been out. And they're coming out with a new one, which I have been told is supposed to be like IKEA simple as far as making, which is really exciting. So this is the one, guys, that if you recall, we had Control Q on a while back talking about this and other things. But the cool thing about the FGC-9 is that it can be completely made at home, whereas a lot of the 3D printed like guns, they're 3D printed components, but you have to order like a parts kit, which in the US, in most states, isn't a big deal. But if you live in like Europe or Puerto Rico or something where you're not allowed to have guns, you can't do that. You can't order a Glock barrel or something. So this gives people all over the world the ability to make a gun in their living room, with a 3D printer and a couple tools and a 5-gallon bucket of water. It's like, you can do this. So it's really cool. So yeah, I'm really stoked about that. And hopefully I will have some more news for you on that. I want to see what it looks like. I assume it's just going to be a 9mm carbine like the other one. I just think it's going to be easier to use and stuff. And I believe they also now have things like 3D printed fire control groups, which they did not before. So I think it's even more easily made at home. Don't quote me on that 100%. I haven't seen it yet, but that's my belief. And one other thing, I've been keeping an eye on it all day, and I thought I was doing something wrong. But in the last day or two, they changed where you get how you get the files. So typically, if you guys don't know, the best way to get in touch with Deterrence Dispense is just go to the website deterrencedispense.com. But ultimately, all the files and stuff are stored on Odyssey or lbry.tv, and which is really cool because it's on the blockchain. They're just there, right? So they're just always out there. So that's a really great way to do it, in my opinion. But they actually switched some stuff around and broke it up a little, put it in little different channels. So I would recommend, if you are looking for just the files, go to gatalog.com. That's catalog, but GAT, GATALOG. Yeah, I know, it's fucking great. Or I'm sorry, it's thegatalog.com. My bad, guys. The Catalog. And then it'll actually have like the different channels, so you can click on, like, if you're just looking for magazines or receivers or references or guides or tutorials, etc., and then it takes you to the corresponding Odyssey page. So if you are trying to look up anything and it seems different, that is why. But yeah, I don't know. I guess that's about all I got on that today. Hopefully, I'll have more news for you next week.
Yeah, and they'll be releasing that like in a couple hours from when we're recording this. So yeah, we're super excited about it. And yeah, FGC-9. I mean, 9mm is great because it's pretty common ammunition, right? But just the fact that you can build this thing without any like regulated gun parts is amazing. And yeah, anyways, I don't want to repeat everything that Dag just said, but because I do that sometimes. But yeah, let's get into Turkey. We covered the Turkish lira. Gosh, it was quite a while ago. How the Turkish lira was, hyperinflating really quickly and losing a lot of its value, and people were turning to gold, silver, and crypto. Well, it just came out today that Turkey is banning the use of it as a currency, so you can't use it as a currency. I guess you can still hold it. Is that?
From what I understand, it says it bans crypto payments. It says because it's risky, of course. But I want to point something out here real quick. I'm just looking at like some headlines, and I always see this. It says Bitcoin tumbles 3% after this thing, and it's always like, you notice every time like Bitcoin will go up, $10,000, and then it sets back like $1,000, and people are like, oh, here it goes, it's crashing, like Bitcoin crashes. Like, what are you talking about, dude? Like, it's consistently going up. Like, yes, it comes back down a little bit, but I don't know. It's just how they frame this stuff sometimes. It's so funny to me.
Yeah, and it's funny how they do it. The thing about it is that they don't really know. Like, nobody knows the reason for prices going up and down, and you can't put a title on an article for something. I just think that's just bad journalism. But really, the reason why prices go up and down, there's only one explanation, and that is that, if prices go down, there are more sellers than buyers. That's pretty much all, and everything else is speculation, right? Like, oh, it went down for this. Well, the market's so big on crypto. It's a global market, so you can't really know, right? But yeah, I think that those little stories are how they put a title on there. Oh, it went down for this, and it's like, you don't know that. It could just be naturally correcting. I think many times they say Bitcoin's crashing. It's really just, well, it went up. It went up 200%. So I mean, it's got to, maybe it's got to come down a little bit to correct there. But yeah, what else do we have on Turkey? I mean, if you guys haven't heard that episode where we cover Turkey's hyperinflation, it's super interesting. We've got all the details in there.
And basically the gist was that a lot of people were starting to use crypto, in that country. So they were actually using it as, a hedge against the lira. And what it's saying in here that basically, their reasoning is because it's dangerous to use cryptocurrency. So it's like, but obviously it's in direct competition. Let's see, what did it say here? I think this last month, the lira, depreciation and inflation topped 16% last month. So, when they say Bitcoin tumbles when it's down 4%, it's like, really, like what's tumbling here? But at any rate, So they're just having hyperinflation. It does look like it is a payment thing. They're saying that people aren't going to be able to develop payment methods for crypto there. That they're putting the kibosh on that, and that what else did it say? there's one big company there that has been accepting crypto for payments, and that's like Rolls-Royce. But I guess they're not doing that anymore. And then I think I read too, there's a couple other countries. I think India is working on banning cryptocurrencies, and I guess China did 2017, if I'm reading this right. A dollar equals 8 liras. There we go. That's all my info.
Oh, it's a 1 to 8, I guess.
Yeah.
At the moment.
So, yeah. It's just funny how they're like, oh, it's dangerous. You can't use it. You have to use our currency that will make you poor, you know?
Yeah, that's guaranteed to make you poor because we just printed out of thin air,
Yeah.
so...
And it is funny. It does say down here, like, traders say such bans are hard to enforce, and crypto markets have in the past shrugged off such moves. Like, yeah, like, ultimately, it's one of those things, like, what can they do? You know, yeah, they can make it where, like, you know, I don't know what a mainstream store is there, you know. I don't think they have, like, you know, Walmart, but, well, they probably do. I don't know. Anyhow, you know, yeah, maybe they won't be able to accept it, but I mean, yeah, people are going to use what they're economically incentivized to use, you know, for currency. And I feel like they're very economically incentivized to spend whatever lira they may be unfortunate enough to get and, you know, use and save any sort of crypto they might be able to get. Just a guess.
This reminds me of I was watching like a travel video where this guy went to Venezuela. He was like trying to use the Bolivar because it was an entertaining YouTube video to show people like how many millions at the time of the video. It was like 1 million Bolivar equaled $1 or something. So 1,000,000 to 1. I mean, that's just crazy to think about. I'll see if I can find it. I don't know if I can find it, but the people of the country, they thought that they would get like some kind of other currency from this guy because he is, you know, obviously a foreigner. And every time he pulled out the Bolivar, the people just had this look on their face like, oh no, he's paying with this. You just see like
have enough toilet paper.
Yeah, they're just like, oh man, like I don't know how I'm gonna get rid of this. And the thing too is that they didn't know, like they don't know. I think shortly after he made that video, like the Bolivar lost another million, or it was like instead of 1 million to 1, it was 2 million to 1. So it took 2 million Bolivars, and this is only like 3 days later. It took 2 million Bolivars to equal $1. So they already lost half of their purchasing power. But every time they got it, you just see this look in these people's faces, and it was actually kind of sad. Like, oh man, like I've got to try to get rid of this as fast as possible, and so it is a thing, and I think more and more people around the world are going to be familiar with fiat currency and even the US dollar. You know, they're going to want to try to get rid of it as soon as possible, just for anything and everything that they can get their hands on that actually has some kind of value or use. So
yeah, and it's funny because people, even without like a formal like economics, you know, like education or anything, like that is one thing that eventually becomes obvious to them, whether or not, you know, no matter how smart or educated they are, it's like, well, what money works, you know, what can I trade for? You know, and it's just money tends to, you know, the good money tends to work itself to the surface, right? You know, or it just sort of happens, you know, so it's interesting. One thing that I've sort of been taking a lot of is when we had Professor March on a couple months ago, and he said, like, people are, like I just said, people are do what they're economically incentivized to do, you know, ultimately it's kind of the basics of economics, right? But I've just really been thinking about that like a lot, putting it into like particular situations and stuff like this. It's like people are going to they're going to use the money that works best, you know, and it's not, you know, they're stupid countries' paper money, you know. So I agree. I think we're going to see a lot more crypto usage and stuff just in the day to day. You know, I think it's almost going to be out of necessity if nothing else. You know, you want to buy groceries here, you know, it's going to work the best.
Yeah. Or if you have dollars, you're like, here, take all these dollars so I can actually get food now instead of the next day getting half of what I was able to get the day before. But anything else on that topic?
No, I think that's good. But we definitely wanted to touch back on that one. But we can move right along to Coinbase.
Hey guys, quick pause here to tell you about our sponsor, Devault Cryptocurrency. Ticker symbol DVT is a low cap coin with a market cap around 900,000. So there could be room for opportunity here. Not financial advice, but we really like this project.
Yeah, the Devault core wallet is one of the best I've ever seen. Very user friendly, super easy to use with cold staking rewards. So it's like getting interest. They're working on privacy with Terraform, also DeFi to decentralize and replace financial institutions.
So go ahead and check them out over at devault.cc and get you a Devault core wallet today. Also, be sure to check out the show notes to find exchanges that they are traded on. With that said, let's get back to the show.
Yeah, Coinbase went public yesterday. So I think checking Coinbase's stock today, they're down a little bit on the NASDAQ.
I heard, if I was to understand this correctly, that like when they first went public or whatever, like it was like exploded, but then it receded back to actually a little bit below what it was before they went public. But it was like, immediately, like the first hour or day or something, it like it shot through the roof. But I don't know if that's accurate, or again, I could have totally misunderstood it because I am not a stock guy.
Yeah, so as soon as it opened, I guess it opened at $409 per share, but then it dropped. It looks like it dropped all the way down to $310, and it's kind of stayed in the $330 range.
Mm-hmm.
And then today it dropped a little bit, but after hour trading, it's up to $344 now. So it went up almost 1% after hour trading. So
other than the exciting fact that this is just more crypto and mainstream news, which I like to see, like what if anything does this mean? I mean, I don't really use Coinbase, so I don't I don't know if it means anything for me directly. But I mean, what are your thoughts on this whole thing?
Well, the significance of it is very important. You've got a company that's solely based on crypto going public and being, regulated by the SEC and being officially recognized by the government. So it's and people being allowed to trade shares in that company. It's very significant. And
getting set up with the SEC is no small feat or task. I mean, it's a big thing with a lot of lawyers, and so yeah, like you said, they're being accepted by the government. Which is kind of a big deal. I didn't mean to cut you off though. Go ahead.
No, yeah, no, you're right. It's very significant, and it means a lot for crypto. Coinbase is obviously one of the biggest, I think, if not biggest exchanges. They're one of the biggest. And Coinbase is the exchange. Like, if you have to tell people, like if I were to tell my grandma, if my grandma wanted to trade crypto and she was like, what's the easiest one to do? I'd just tell her Coinbase, right?
Is it like an exchange, like where you swap back and forth, or is it like just where you purchase it, like as a user?
You can purchase it as a user. You can take it off of Coinbase, which is nice. Like Robinhood or PayPal, you can't actually take your crypto off of those platforms. Yeah, they're custodial, and you actually don't know if the crypto exists because you can't take it off of there. They can just say you have it. So any exchange where you can't take it off of I'm very weary of. Mm-hmm. But Coinbase, you can take your crypto off of it. It's very user friendly, very simple. Like I said, even many grandmas can use it. So
many grandmas.
Yeah, the fees are kind of high. The trading fees are kind of high, but again, I mean, if you're paying a couple bucks for fees, but it goes up. Well, like we think it's going to. I mean, there's not really a crypto I know of right now that hasn't gone up at least 100% in the last 6 months. So,
I mean, this last week's been just crazy all around too, man. I've had a couple that did very well, so hopefully it sticks.
Yeah, and I mean, I'm not a fan of like crypto, but I think I'm not a fan of like a crypto company like being regulated or accepted by the government or anything, but
Right.
because I am more like, I want to be outside of their systems, but I think it's an overall good thing for crypto, and it does bring attention to the space. Many people are going to want to now trade in Coinbase, and when they look into Coinbase, and they're going to look into crypto. So it spreads market adoption, awareness, just everything, acceptance, legitimacy, and we're no longer, it's no longer just a pipe dream that will never work. It's legit now. So,
Question. Here's my concern with this, and I'm not saying like this makes anything particularly good or bad, just maybe just the inevitable. But since they're the like let's say the first ones like this to go public and be accepted by the great church of the government, what do you think? Do you think this means anything for like all the other crypto trading platforms? Just because we look at like a lot of history and it's like, okay, so now I would assume that they are going to be the accepted guys, and maybe one or two other guys get in, but then they of course start lobbying and making laws and make the other crypto businesses harder to operate in the United States illegally. Do you think that might be founded? Or I don't know, I just feel like that's always the case. That's always what happens.
Yeah, if it hasn't happened already, because crypto regulations are pretty crazy. If it hasn't happened already, it's going to happen.
And I think they're one of the ones, and I don't want to, slander anybody or anything, but like, aren't they since they're one of the bigger ones, I know some of the bigger guys, you can tell me if it's these guys or not, let me not accuse anybody, that had a big hand in making the software that the government or the IRS uses to track crypto transactions and stuff.
Yeah, they were getting in bed. Coinbase started getting in bed with the IRS. So
it makes sense that they're the ones too.
Yeah.
God, it's already happening.
I don't, even though it's super user friendly and it's like a platform you tell your grandma to get on. I don't recommend using Coinbase whatsoever. And I don't recommend telling people to use it. So I just want to make that very clear. Because they will track and trace you and rat you out and make you pay taxes. So
there's a lot of exchanges you use a VPN for. Those might be worth looking into.
Yeah, like non-KYC. Decentralized. Yeah. So with that said, let's see.
Do we want to talk about some of these coins that are kerploding? Or I'm sorry, that may kerploding is going down, exploding is going up. That's technical. BCH today, holy cow! I think did it hit 1100?
Yeah, I think it hit 1150. I think it was 1150 at one point in time. Let me double check here. It's at this very moment it's 1123. So, and then it was 1150 at one point in time. So yeah, I mean, it's such a relief for the Bitcoin Cash community. It's so well deserved that they finally get a little price rise, because I mean, the thing is that even though Bitcoin Cash has a bad rap and they're the bastards of the real Bitcoin community, the fundamentals on Bitcoin Cash you can't deny. They have, at this very moment, they are top 10 crypto, which to me doesn't matter. I don't care if you're 500 or 1,000. If you're one of the best ones, I don't care where your rank is. You're the best.
You have to be useful. That's my thing. You have to be useful.
Right. Yeah, that's where one of the best comes in, is like, use. And they are the number one used. It is the number one used crypto. People can't deny that. There are more transactions on Bitcoin Cash than any other blockchain. They are number one. They even beat out Ethereum and BTC Bitcoin. So they are number ones in terms of transactions. Fundamentally, they do have the most physical locations around the world except Bitcoin Cash, and you can't deny that. There's ATMs in Hong Kong that will let you trade for Bitcoin Cash, but they will not let you trade for Bitcoin. And that's because they can't make any money because of the Bitcoin transactions. And you can tell them to use Lightning Network all day, but being an ATM, they have to exchange for other cryptos. So by doing that, they have to move those transactions on chain, which they get hit with that big fee. So, but I hope that Bitcoin does well, and I hope that Bitcoin succeeds because I want all of crypto to do well. I think that it's an industry that that needs to do well, especially since we are going up against these extremely powerful criminal organizations known as governments. And but yeah, it's such a relief and well deserved for Bitcoin Cash, and it's such a good coin. You've got tokens, you've got Cash Fusion and Cash Shuffle, and all of these great innovations. And somebody even like Tobias Ruck even made like a little like crypto card with Bitcoin Cash where you can like tap it or swipe it like a credit card, and it I forget what it did, but it made payments super easy. Yeah, it's got a huge community, and it's such a good crypto that that I think it is being overlooked. I mean, if you look at Bitcoin Cash compared to like Dogecoin, let's see. So the market cap right now of Bitcoin Cash, as I'm talking, is $20 billion. The market cap of Dogecoin right now is 44 billion. So if you look at this, okay, if you look at this, Dogecoin has like zero development. I think like one or two developers started working on it when the price started increasing dramatically, and Elon Musk was tweeting out Doge memes. But if you really look at it, there's almost no development with Doge. It's a joke. And it's got over twice the market cap of Bitcoin Cash. So, I mean, you can't really tell me that the market is like rational or logical whatsoever when that's the case. But it does show you an opportunity. It shows you that you've got a coin that's way better, that has way more features, that does way more transactions, that has super cheap fees, that has all of this innovation and huge development teams versus a coin that doesn't really have anything. So there's just so much opportunity in Bitcoin Cash. And yeah, I mean, if Bitcoin Cash doubles in market cap, right, it will be, I mean, if it gets to 44 billion, what is that? Like, don't quote me on this, but around $23, $24, $100 a coin. And I think it can easily do that. If Doge is over $44 billion market cap, I think Bitcoin Cash could easily do that because it's just so much more. It's so much more of a crypto coin. It's so much more valuable in general. Even though the market's not exactly saying that at the moment. And but again, Blockbuster was the big guy at one point in time. And Netflix was the small guy at one point in time. So just because the current market is the way it is doesn't mean it's always going to be that way. There are dinosaurs. There are companies that don't innovate and die, and we saw that with the .com era too, where Bingo.com was worth $100 million, but it didn't really have anything behind it, just a name, and
lots of stock.
Yeah, lots of stock, and then you had companies like Amazon take off and be killers. So yeah, I think there's super opportunity in Bitcoin Cash. I mean, even in terms of development, better than Litecoin, and Litecoin has got, you know, $500 million more in terms of market cap. They're number 9. So yeah, I don't think that Bitcoin Cash is getting what it deserves, and I think it's super undervalued. But with that comes huge opportunity. So I think I'll leave it there before I start repeating myself. But did you have anything on that, Dag?
Oh, no. I guess like I said, like, yeah, I like, I mean, I think, you know, different, you know, currencies have different uses. I was talking to my wife about this earlier. We were talking about, you know, like Doge, and it's just like, I was like, man, you know, I kind of feel like I missed an opportunity, because even by the time I even knew what Doge was, which is back at like the GameStop time, you know, I was like, well, it's already over now. It's already went up so much. I'm like, man, I mean, you know, it's like, did I miss out? You know, but I'm like, it's like, man, like I really, if I'm gonna purchase a coin, like it has to. I don't just want it to be some sort of speculative nonsense. Like I want it to be useful, you know, and that's my thing with, like, you know, BCH is useful as, like, you know, a currency for trade. Something like Presearch token is useful because that's how they use it. That's how advertising works. You know, that's because there's a use. You know, there's you know, the LBRY tokens. You know, there's a use for that. You know, so it's something like that. But when it's just like, it's just like speculative. But then on the other side of things, it's like, I still could have made some dough, you know. But I don't know, man. I'm not a gambler, so I don't know. I just don't feel comfortable with things like that. You know, I'd rather purchase something that I feel like has a use, or will, you know, definitely at least hold value. But yeah, that's it. Otherwise, I wasn't really familiar with Doge that much at all. I just know, like I said, boys at my shop made a shit ton of money off of it. So
I mean, there's opportunity everywhere in the crypto market.
Like,
but
I made $600 before I even walked in this morning. Why am I even here? You know, like, because it doesn't happen every day.
Yeah. Right.
So, but yeah, man, that's it. We're tearing through them today.
All right, let's take a quick second to shout out Agorist Acre Seeds. Agoristacres.com stocks a variety of seeds for your garden or homestead. They also have really cool packaging instead of those silly paper envelopes.
Buy seeds with crypto, support the counter economy, and become self-sustaining today. Agorist Acres offers fast shipping, so you can get started right away.
Make sure you use code Nexus10 at the checkout for 10% off of your orders. Also, they will donate a portion of the sale to Agorist Nexus, helping to bring you all the great content you expect. And all right, let's get on with it.
So, like I said earlier, like there comes opportunity, right? Like the opportunity with Bitcoin Cash is still golden, because I mean, if Dogecoin can has more than double the market cap, like what can a better coin than Doge do? I mean, in terms of opportunity, right? Like, something that I forgot to mention was that Bitcoin Cash is doing DeFi as well. So you'll be able to earn interest with it eventually.
Say, man, what is that DeFi I've been hearing so much about?
Decentralized finance. So you'll be able to do anything that you can do with the financial, like you would be able to do with a regular financial institution that you would be able to do with crypto, only decentralized. And yeah, it's just so much better, because you're still holding a lot of the DeFi stuff. You're still holding your own keys, and you still own your own crypto, so that you don't have to worry about somebody else maybe taking advantage of you. But some of these interest projects, I wouldn't endorse if somebody said, well, we give you interest, but we hold your crypto for you. Because at any point in time, they can say we were hacked, or XYZ happened, and or they go bankrupt, or something like that, and you're just out at that point. So, but yeah, I mean, Bitcoin Cash is getting into DeFi, and then you've got Roger Ver, who went on a podcast, and he told this woman that well, she had said something like, you're not on Forbes, crypto billionaire list, and he's like, well, maybe the list is wrong. which I mean, knowing Ver, I mean, there's no way that he's not a crypto billionaire, especially with some of the things I've seen him do. But and that's a good thing. Like I want people who love freedom and liberty to have as much wealth as possible, because I think it will make the world a better place. But that's for a different story. That's for a different podcast. But so he's basically saying, maybe the list is wrong, and he was saying, but once these companies start going public, that I was an early investor in, and he was an early investor in Coinbase. That's where the Coinbase topic comes in. Like it's insane. Like the projects that he was a angel investor in. You've got Coinbase and Kraken. I mean, those two alone, and then you've got like thousands of other stuff that he invested in. So, all that's going to come to fruition. I mean, especially Coinbase and Kraken. Now, he said that once he starts getting money back from these projects when they go public, that he would invest them in Bitcoin Cash. So he said his first $1 billion, he would just buy Bitcoin Cash straight up. So feel free to front run him on that. So that it's going to be $1 billion plus than it is from today. And I don't think he can cash out anything from his public offerings in Coinbase till a year afterwards. I think that's how, because I traded stocks for about 13 years, so he most likely won't be able to touch any of his stock for a year, so not till April of 2022. But so that Bitcoin Cash will be, the market cap will be at least plus $1 billion when he buys it. And he said his second $1 billion he's going to just put towards Bitcoin Cash infrastructure and development. So, you don't see other coins have somebody say, okay, I'm just going to throw $1 billion at infrastructure and development. You don't see that anywhere. You've got people maybe donating or doing stuff with like some of these crypto foundations, but I've never really heard of $1 billion being thrown at development. So in my eyes, there's huge. I mean, it's the number one crypto that's going to be a medium of exchange. More places use it than any other crypto. Most transactions. It's number one in terms of use in Japan, Australia, many places in Europe. It's 1 or 2 in Venezuela next to Dash. And most brick and mortar locations, physical locations. And then you've got Ver, who already put $200 million towards development a couple of years ago, and I think that money's still being allocated. But then you've got him, sooner or later throwing another $1 billion towards development. So I just see so much opportunity with Bitcoin Cash, and I think he is right in a lot of cases, whether you like the guy or not. I mean, I'm a huge fan myself, and I think he's great, but some people don't feel that way. And but the thing is whether you like him or not, he is right about one thing, and that is that we need a crypto that is going to be able to give as much economic freedom to the world as possible. And right now, it's looking like Bitcoin Cash is the one that can do that. So that's pretty much all I got on that topic, Dag. I'm sure people are getting tired of my voice here, but
You said it all, man. I don't know.
what do you got? You got anything?
On that? No. BCH is cool. I like it.
Yeah, I mean, and it's it's useful, right? Like,
Yeah.
I'm able to use it for a lot of different stuff that I can't use a lot of these other cryptos for. I think some of these other cryptos may be good investments, but it's like I can't really use them. I just kind of like buy them and hold them. And Bitcoin Cash, I can buy, hold, use, spend,
And
whatever.
yeah, I mean, honestly, like, I don't mind there, being several, it's just really, it's the only one that anybody that I know that I'm gonna like do like some sort of business with. I don't know really anybody who wants to, do any trade with me in BTC because the fees are so high, if nothing else. So
yeah,
and I just don't live somewhere where Dash is popular. So
I'm the same way. And
if I was hanging out in the city and everyone, like, all the stores accepted Dash, like I'd get some Dash and use Dash, like I don't care really, but Bitcoin has worked well for me. It's the main one that I use, and I'm relatively new to crypto, and it's welcomed me. It's welcomed me, so I haven't had any problems with it.
And I probably don't mention this enough, but the Bitcoin Cash SLP tokens are so useful. Agorist Nexus has a token, so what you can do with this token is people can donate towards the token, and many of the content creators for Agorist Nexus have this token. So by donating through this token, and that's what we use it for. We use it as a donation token. So by donating through this token, you're donating to a lot of the Agorist Nexus content creators all at once. So you're donating to Agorist Nexus, you're donating to, a lot of our content creators all at once. And that's a great use case, just the token alone. So if you want to reward Agorist Nexus and a lot of people who create content for Agorist Nexus all at once, that's a great way to do it. There's instructions on our website under donate if you scroll down. But
I think tokenization is really cool, and I don't know that much about it. But sometimes I think, I'm like, man, like let's say I had a big chunk of land, and I wanted to sell off other pieces of it to other anarchists or something. I'm like, man, how can we do it without like? And I'm like, man, doing something like tokenization. Maybe that's more of an NFT thing, which I guess is a kind of token. But you could each one is worth I don't know, a fucking quarter acre or a square foot or something. We should probably do an episode about tokenization. I just feel like there's a lot of cool stuff there, and I really don't know that much about it. But it's like, man, you really feel like you can replace a lot of stuff. Like it's really way around like stocks and have to deal with the SEC or just. I don't know. It's neat.
Yeah, that's my thing is that my biggest thing is that tokens could easily just destroy the stock market. Because you don't need to file all this paperwork to create a token. And
you don't need brokerages and all this other bullshit,
Yeah, so companies could sell these tokens, which would be like part ownership in these, and they could even give out dividends, right? And and the tokens would increase or decrease in value with how many, with whatever the market says, with how many buyers and sellers there are for that token.
You're basically just dealing direct with the buyers and sellers in the company. Yeah, you don't need all this other otherwise it's like buying and selling stocks. Like
you don't have to
ordeal.
Yeah, you don't have to go through brokerage firms and have a certain amount to trade and any of that stuff. Or it's just really great. It's truly free market and a truly free way to just get rid of Wall Street and the banks in general. But yeah, with that we should probably move on here to the SDR. And if you guys don't know what SDR is, it stands for
Special drawing rights.
yes, special drawing rights. I had a
It's the only thing about all this that I really understand is what those letters mean. Um, I actually think I did. I think I am starting to get it. So, but I'm still going to let you explain it.
well, the IMF uses it, and so basically, a lot of times they use it to, they'll ask certain like richer countries to help out poorer countries, and they'll use special drawing rights to incentivize that. And a lot of the poorer countries will definitely take it because there's lower interest rates and more benefits. But the thing that we're watching a YouTube video. We'll have the link in the description. But after seeing this video, I think hyperinflation will be even worse than what I thought before. Which, I mean, I thought it would be a catastrophe before, but I didn't think it could get any worse. But thing about special drawing rights is that the IMF is trying to become the world central bank, and as they print more SDR, more of the other currencies that make up the SDR get inflated as well. So it's like double inflation on top of inflation on top of inflation. And yeah, I mean, when I heard this, I was like, "Holy crap! People need to hear about this." So I'm even more bullish on crypto and more worried about. Well, I don't want to say worried, but more. Even more.
Well, it definitely illustrates like an acceleration, because this is something that they've been able to do since I think like the 60s, and they've been doing it more recently, like way more. It used to be something they did like rarely. I guess they started doing it in the 60s when it really started to become apparent that the whole Bretton Woods thing wasn't working out, that we weren't good for the gold that we said our dollars were worth on the international market. So they sort of like came up with this as like a little bit of a band-aid. And then, Nixon in the 70s completely, untied the dollar to gold. And, since then, to counteract all that very silly monetary policy, they've had to be, doing this more and more. And I guess, it's been increasing quite a bit here recently with, 2020 and 2021 being what it has been, and all the stimuli and whatnot.
So the SDR is made up of 5 currencies: the US dollar, the euro, the Chinese renminbi, the Japanese yen, and the British pound. And basically, when they print more more special drawing rights credits, they print all of these currencies get printed out more, causing even more inflation. And that was something that I wasn't even aware about. That was something I wasn't even aware of previously. So just knowing that is like, holy crap. And definitely take a look at this video. It's with Stansberry Research, and the title of it is what's the title of this IMF silently creates new money layer. Why you need to leave the banks. It's with William Middlecoop. So definitely check that video out. We'll have that video in the description. And it's going to get to the point where every day, every week is there's going to be more things that we're going to have to be informed about. And I think reality is going to be I think reality is going to be harder and harder to differentiate between, you know, what they're saying and what is actually true. And we really need to try to stay as well informed as possible. And before we get to the quote, did you have anything else, Dag?
You know, we've been talking a lot about like hyperinflation and stuff tonight, and I just read or listened to rather alongside Night, which excellent. Please everybody check it out. But they that's kind of like the world is there's like hyperinflation going on and everything, and they paint a pretty interesting picture. You know, they talk about stuff like, oh yeah, like, you know, my wife comes and picks up my pay on my lunch break so she can go spend it before, you know, the value, you know, decreases and everything. And of course, gold is the, you know, the standard. I think the book was written in like 79 or something. So, you know, there wasn't crypto yet, but I think it would have been interesting if, you know, crypto did exist. It's just interesting, you know, when something like that's happening and just your money just isn't worth anything, you know, just the way that the world is and just how much everything sucks, you know. So, you know, do what you can to not be poor forever, and, you know, not financial advice, but, you know, get you some fucking crypto if you don't have it. I assume everyone listening to the show probably does.
Yeah, very good, very solid advice. And
It's
okay.
not advice.
Yeah, not advice.
But yeah, that's all I got. Those are my final thoughts.
Okay, let me search for this this quote real quick.
It was kind of cool in the beginning of the book. He's doing like the acknowledgments and everything, you know, and Victor Coleman, you know, was one of them. And I was like, oh, we know that guy.
Ooh, I know. Let's do a Roger Ver quote. Fuck it.
Oh yeah, good idea.
He's got so many good ones. Okay, here's one. We will never hear about people's Bitcoin accounts being frozen or seized by a government agency. Roger Ver, Agorist, Nexus out.
Peace.